So we're back in the stall. It's Jenilee
and Cass. Jenilee, who do you think should pay for the first date?
The guy.
Exactly. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page for this. Have you ever been on a date and they want to split the bill or something?
No. Ooh, come on in.
Let's get down and dirty.
The totally unfiltered, honest.
Up to my brain.
I love your brain.
Stall talk.
Stall talk.
Y'all ready? That's never happened to you?
No, because I wouldn't allow it. It's
okay.
No, you can ask. You can ask people around me. I never pay for a date.
That's something I have taken from you.
I just I don't know. I'm old fashioned in that anything in my home, if someone's in my home, I love to entertain if someone's in my home. So I take care of everything. I serve, I make, I serve, I clean. I don't want them. You see, I put the
very hostess.
I love hosting, but everybody in my family knows it's called Jenilee hors d'oeuvres. So I think I'm very generous in giving about everything in my home. However, once I go outside of my home on a date, I think that I am their responsibility. I expect them to be protective of me, honorable of me, and all that. So no, they have to pay for everything. No, I do
love
not.
That. I'm the same way now.
But I will also say I never take advantage. So I would never go. I even do that in business. So in business, I'm always traveling, and the people are always paying for, my flights, my hotel room. They say, order whatever you want. But I know at the end of the day, someone, an accountant, a bookkeeper, they're going to see that bill. I will never order the most expensive thing. I will always lean on the side of the most frugal thing because somebody else is paying for it. But I do expect them to pay for it.
That is very considerate and thoughtful of you.
But then again, I don't know, maybe it's very bullish that I also say I do not pay.
No, it's not. You're the woman. I don't think you should at all, especially on a first date. You reminded me of a story. I have a first date horror story. Yes.
Tell.
Story. It was worse than him wanting to split the bill. Worse than that. So I went on a little date with my friends. So it was kind of like a group date thing. I had two girlfriends with me, and then it was the guy and his female cousin, and then another guy. Okay, so stay with me. There's 6 people on this date that he invited me on to go to dinner in Manhattan Beach. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm spilling this out loud. So basically, this was at a seafood restaurant, and they're like, order whatever you want. It's on me. I'm vegetarian, as you already know, so I don't even eat seafood. I just got a side of fries and the mac and cheese, so I didn't go crazy. But I'm watching, they get king crab, scallops, all this fancy, like sushi, all this really expensive seafood. And I'm over here dang, they got it like that. And I'm just, we're just my friends and I are just sharing our fries and mac and cheese. That's all we got. We didn't go crazy. But they were racking up the bill. The bill was at this restaurant. Okay, this is also back when this was a lot of money for dinner. $500. It was $500. And this was me 4 years ago. So I was like, wow, that is a lot. And I'm in the bathroom with Kayla, and the female cousin of his comes into the bathroom, and she goes, Cassandra, can you pull up your car up front? And I was just it didn't make sense to me because I'm literally parked across the street. Did somebody hurt themselves? I don't know why they need me to bring my car up front. And I was okay, let me just finish in the bathroom. I get a text message from my other roommate, Alexis, and she texts us. She's like, guys, something fishy's going on. You need to come out the bathroom. We come out the bathroom. The female cousin and the guy who was my date, his cousin, are gone. They left. Completely gone. Yeah. So then it's myself, my 2 roommates, the guy, and the owner of the restaurant and the server standing here with the bill. And I'm just here like, wait a second. They played me like Boo Boo the Fool.
And
They
so did you?
left. They left, and then the only one that was left was the guy. He grabs my arm and he pulls me. He's like, let's go, let's go. This is why I told you to pull up the car. And I was just like,
The guy did this on purpose.
Yes!
He ordered all the
Yes!
things. No,
For
you
it.
ever see this guy again?
hell no. I went to the popo.
But what?
Oh, no,
I
no,
mean-
I had to go to the police station after that.
That was sickening.
Sure was. Since then, my standards of men have skyrocketed, but we'll get into that for another episode.
Perfect. And that's what the stall's all about, is having those stories. But coming up, we have the most wonderful guest, because what a career she has had.
And a dating history.
And she's been to the streets, but she also dated the king.
The
king. So boy, she's going to share some wonderful stories. Stay tuned. Give us a synopsis of your life story, if you would.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I have to say, it's all in this book.
Yeah,
I have to say that.
yeah.
And it's called Elvis, Rocky, and Me. Thank you. And the documentary's coming out this year.
I know,
It all
that's right.
started when I was 16 and a half. Because a young man, I will tell you who his name was at the end, came up to me because he was dating my girlfriend, and I was sort of the lookout. And he came, I was going into high school, and he said, I love your voice. I'm going to write a song for your voice. And I said, right, sure. He said, but do you have $10? And then you can be in our singing group. I said, but I don't have 10 cents. I'm 16 and a half years of age.
Aw.
And he said, if you can get together $10, you can be in our singing group. And I love your voice, and I'm going to write a song for it. The song went on to become one of the most important songs, according to even Martin Scorsese, in rock and roll. He's a big music buff, according to him and many other people in rock and roll history. And it was written by the infamous Phil Spector.
Ooh.
And it was off his father's tombstone, which said to know him was to love him. And Phil turned it into a teenage lament. And literally, it was the first thing he ever wrote, first thing he ever produced. And it went like this. To know you is to love him. And I do. And it
And I
became one of the
do.
most important songs in
And
rock
I
and roll
do.
history.
Yeah. Oh my.
And I was just going into high school.
Did you get your $10 back?
Sort of. I did get a gold record to wear around my neck when it became a gold record. I don't think we were very poor, and $10 in that time was a lot of money. And my father had been a jockey, so jockeys live on the edge. So I sort of, when I went to my dad and mom, I said, "May I have $10?" And my mother said, "Do your homework." And my father said, "Gail, let's listen to what she has to say."
Now, when
And
you-
they gave me the $10.
Wow.
When you say that your dad was a jockey,
He was a jockey.
your dad was a jockey, a disc jockey, or a horse jockey?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, because Cass and I, we of course so admire you, and we're so excited that you're here. But we were talking because both of us love sports.
Well,
So-
my dad, and they say pound for pound, a jockey is the greatest athlete because they're standing basically on top of a horse. And my dad, he won many, many races, but when I was born, my mother made him quit. But he rode back east at Pimlico and those Belmont, the Cuba tracks. It was many, many, many years ago, and I learned how to ride from my father.
When did you first discover your love for music?
When they wheeled the baby grand into my incubator, I was an incubator baby, 4 pounds, 2 ounces, and they said, "Start now." I mean, it's been my life, all my life. I don't really know anything else.
Did your parents sing? How did you get
My mother
your mother?
was supposed to study opera. She had the most beautiful voice in Poland at the Warsaw Conservatory of Music and the war. She's the only one who got out. In 1938, my father went to Poland and brought my mother to America, and the rest of the family was annihilated. But my mother was going to be an opera singer. So I learned, as my sister and I, my sister Cheryl, my mother would come to us at night, and she would sing all these magnificent arias, from Madame Butterfly, da da dee da da, all these great Carmen, Rigoletto, and so all those melodies stayed in my head. But we didn't want to hear him because we wanted to hear my dad because it was dangerous. He was a jockey. So we'd go, we want daddy, we want daddy. And my mother would leave in a huff, and my father would come in and he would tell us, oh, well, I was on the racetrack and then the whistle went off and the horse reared and blah, 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 blah. And it was always so exciting. And I watched all the Kentucky Derby and Preakness and everything with my father when he was alive. It was very special.
You were so young when you did this. Do you feel like you missed some of your childhood, or do you wish that, because if you had a hit record when you're only 16 and a half, didn't your life then just explode?
It totally changed. Totally changed. Right. Did I miss no, because this is difficult for me to say, but in my mind, I was very unpopular in school. And I remember once when I was really quite young, crying to my mother. And I kept saying to my mother, we have to move. We have to move. And my mother said, well, we can't move, but why do you want to move, Annette? My real name's Annette. Oh. And I said, because maybe then I'll be popular. So it was not difficult for me to transition into having this number one record in the world. It wasn't just here. It's the reason Elvis became my first boyfriend, was because he fell in love with my voice. I could have been Dracula's daughter for all he knew, but he loved the sound of my voice on the song and told the Memphis Mafia, I want to meet that girl, I love her voice. I can imitate people and animals. Sorry.
No, it's great. That's what I really wanted to ask when Cass and I were talking about you come in. I said, I want to know about Elvis. Elvis was your...
In the book. Elvis brought you notice. Elvis.
But Elvis was your first boyfriend?
But I was older. I was not jailbait.
Oh.
I was not jailbait.
Oh, okay, because I went like,
But he loved my voice. And he always said, and I'm being redundant, to the Memphis Mafia, I really want to meet a girl, I love her voice.
Yeah.
So when this young man came up to me in this market, and he was sort of creepy. It was my height. He was really creepy. I'm only 5 feet tall. And he said, aren't you the girl that sang To Know Him Is to Love Him? And I went, yeah, I was buying a carton of milk at the time. And he said, Elvis would love to meet you. And I went, sure, of course, right. But being my father's daughter, and they live on the edge, I gave him my phone number. Jenilee, you didn't do that in those days.
Oh, my God.
But I did. And about 2 weeks later, it was totally scandalous. Good choice of words.
See? Oh, she knows them, too. Cass is like...
Very good, Cass.
You have to go to the streets with Cass. That's what she does.
I would love it. But so I gave him my number. He called me, and I went up to where he was living on Bellagio. This was in 1964. Okay. He had just finished Viva Las Vegas with Anne Margaret. Which I always believed was one of the great loves of his life.
Right? They had a notorious affair.
He would not answer the question.
What?
When we were going together. I asked him, how do you feel about Anne Margaret? I don't remember my exact words. And he would not answer the question.
Why do you think he did?
Because I think he really did love, but he was having a romance with me and trying to get me to whatever. And here he can't say, yeah, I really loved her. Now, whatever.
Oh, no. So did you ever go into the jungle room or whatever? Did you go to Graceland?
I never went to Nashville.
Okay.
I knew him here. He was on Bellagio.
Okay.
So the little creepy guy takes me to his house, and I walk down these steps, and there on the other side of the room is this magnificent human being that moves like a cat. And I love cats. I have Abyssinians. I love cats. And he moved like a cat, and I felt like a mouse.
You're talking about Elvis. Okay.
And he comes up to me, and he says, first words, no, he didn't do that. But his first words were, so, why you name a group teddy bears? And I looked at him, I went, said, "Oh my God, that's Elvis Presley." And I went, "Just wanna be your teddy bear." And that started my love affair with him. I went with him for 9.5 months.
Was he
I
gorgeous?
didn't have a baby. I was too stupid.
Really?
But
Gorgeous,
he
right?
was gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
He was gorgeous.
Was he a nice guy?
Yes. He was very kind. Remember, this was 1964. So he tapped his hand a lot and he tapped his foot a lot. I remember that. And we would harmonize. There were songs that we both loved. He loved To Know Him Is to Love Him. But there were songs that wise men say only fools rush in. And the other one we did was the Hawaiian love song. This is the story. Da 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 da, da da dee 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 da da, dee da 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 da. We used to sing that one together. But one of the great moments of my life was when I was able to tell my mother that Placido Domingo had recorded. He did 4 of my songs, pop songs, and one of them was a hit. But that he had recorded a song of mine because remember, my mother wanted to be an opera singer and she was going to be on a scholarship to the Warsaw Conservatory. So, I mean, I don't want to use the word proud as I was just so touched that I was able to bring that to my mom and say, look, because she loved opera. Enzo, what was his name? Mario Lanza, Enzo, the one from South Pacific. I'm having a blank on his name. But they were all opera singers, and my mother loved opera.
Did your mother live vicariously through you, do you think?
Very smart. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And was
she did.
But was she also happy? Was she really happy for you and about you? Or like, I don't know, this is horrible for me to even ask, but do you think she was also
I know what you're going to ask. I knew you were going to say that. I think she lived vicariously through me. I think she was very concerned that I was so taken by all this and so wanted this but she never forced me about getting married, or having children. It never, she understood that I was my own person. I was going to do what I wanted to do. And she was good about that. My mom was good. Was she jealous? I don't like that word. I'm into words of music. Maybe a little envious. Because if you're envious, then you're happy that somebody has something, but you would like it too. When you're jealous, you want to take it away from somebody. So no, my mother wasn't jealous. And, I took my mom and dad to the Oscars when I was nominated the 2 times. I took them also to the Emmys, which I was nominated 5 times. So they would come with me. And we are all so tiny, we could walk under all the tables. They'd go, "Oh, those Carol and her parents." My dad and mom were like 5. My father's the only jockey who did not marry a 6'2" blonde. Like the American, they all marry tall blondes.
Wow.
I'm really curious about how going from dating Elvis Presley, how does that shape the rest of your dating future?
When
you start here, how do you go about dating?
Great question.
My
Cass.
next boyfriend was a psychiatrist, and I think I needed one. Does that answer it? No, Elvis was great.
As Cass would ask me, so what's your type, Carol?
Tall, dark, handsome, tall. Isn't that strange? You would think because my father was tiny, I was always like all my boyfriends. I mean, David Jansen, tall. Robert Culp, tall. I'm just all, and I have a propensity to liking actors because they're children. They're like little children,
Geez. But then, so talking about the whole dating thing, and the reason why we have Stall Talk, which is so wonderful, it's because it's multi-generational. I'm the boomer, and she's the Gen Zer.
Right.
And what can you give us and our Stall Talk babes? What would be your dating then advice to everybody, to even the young ones, and even I'm open. We were talking about your jeweler earlier, and I asked if he was single. So
I believe that. First, I know this is. I will not date anybody who is cheap.
ooh,
I like that one.
No. There's a reason. I mean, I really thought this through. If they won't want to tip a waiter or tip, I mean, they work so hard. What is it now? Tips for no tax on tips. But if they won't, for instance, if I see that, I will never go out with them again, because in my mind, if they are cheap about that, they are cheap about their feelings and their emotions. And I don't want anybody in my life like that.
I need to take that one with me. I like your standards.
touche.
I'm like, he doesn't have a car, but like he's cute.
I don't know why I think that, but I've learned that's a barometer for me. I mean, I don't want anything I'm not talking about men buying me which they have, all my boyfriends, but I just feel that it's into their psyche if they're that way.
Okay, so I just want to sound very materialistic at the moment. What's the best gift you ever got from a guy?
A Rolls Royce.
Wow. That is awesome.
And a baby grand Steinway piano. And my jewelry. And my coats.
Oh my!
Not my house. I bought my house myself. Even though the King of Malaysia and my parents all came to see when I was going to buy the house after Rocky. He did not. Somebody once said to me, well, he bought your house. I said, no, the King of Malaysia, known as the Agong, did not buy my house. I bought my house. And that was very difficult because in those days, they did not want to give me a loan. I did not have a 9-to-5 job. I was not a widow. I was not divorced. And I was single. And they refused to give me the loan for the house, the bank. And my business manager took my first ASCAP statement after Rocky and said, see this? She can buy this house outright. I just want her to have the deductions. And they gave me the loan. Well, she doesn't have a 9-to-5 job. I said, I wish I would have written that song, but Dolly Parton did.
Exactly.
I love her. She is so cool.
What's a day in Carol Connor's life like?
2 Abyssinian kitty cats named Music and Star, who's truly a star.
Cass and I are huge animal lovers. So.
Oh, I love it. And he has 2 RRs in his name so that it coincides with the car. Get it? Rolls Royce, Star. Okay. So let's see. I love to go to luncheons. I love to work. Right now, I'm working on a couple different projects, which is so... First of all, Elvis, Rocky, and me. And the documentary's coming out, and there are 2 songs in the documentary. 2 songs that one is called The Night That Elvis Died. I was at the Polo Lounge that afternoon. And you're far too young, and so are you. But do you remember the little Philip Morris man? Well, he was sort of an icon at the Polo Lounge. And like they would go, the phone, he would bring a phone to you and he'd say, phone call from Miss Jenilee, phone call. And everybody would rubberneck their heads to see who was getting the call.
Fun.
But he came running in and he was like crying. And we were all sitting at in different tables. And he went, Elvis Presley just died. Elvis Presley just died, just like that. And I fell apart because we had stayed friends over the years. He was so proud of me doing Rocky. And he was offered A Star Is Born.
With the Barbara Streisand one, and it went to Chris Christopherson. But
Because
I
Colonel
remember,
Parker turned it down.
I remember that story.
Yeah, he told me that Colonel Parker said, my boy ain't going to play no second fiddle to no Barbara Streisand and end up a drunk. And if he would have done the film, and I have said this, I believe this, it's in the book, it's in the documentary of the same name, I believe he would have lived. Because he so wanted to be respected. And some of his films, he was a very good actor.
Were you aware of the problems that he had? I mean,
Yes.
So you were.
I saw him very close to the end in Vegas when he was dating, not Linda Thompson, Ginger.
Right.
Ginger was the
Because he
girlfriend.
died. He was only 42 years old.
I know.
Jeez.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic. But I know you asked me a question about, I just forgot the rest of the question.
Oh, I have two things. I know that Victoria Beckham
Oh,
idolizes you.
well, she
And,
thinks I'm pretty
because-
crazy.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a famous story. But Victoria Beckham came to L.A. I'm going to tell the story for you. And say she came to L.A. and she was in this group of all these women and everything else. And correct me if I'm wrong, but she didn't know who you were or anything.
No,
but
she
you're
didn't.
sitting right. So
It was Beverly Hills Ladies.
Yeah, it was like one of those luncheons,
Right.
and there she was. And I don't know how the introduction went around, but all of a sudden, Carol, who does do impressions and all that, you said, well, you know, I can do a dolphin call or something. Victoria Beckham looks at this beautiful woman
Well,
that's
thank
in this
you.
powder blue suit.
Like that, like what you're wearing
this color,
today.
yeah.
Yes.
And she's looking, she goes, and I think you said to her, yeah, would you like to hear it? And all the other women were sipping their cocktails or whatever. And all of a sudden you did your dolphin call.
Yes.
Can you do that for us now?
Yeah, I have to think dolphin for a second.
Take a beat, but it's
Take a breath. Okay, hold on.
Wow.
And people would come up to me. It went viral, whatever that word is. And I remember being at Spago, and I was standing with Wolfgang Puck, and this little girl came up with her mother, and she said, Mommy, that's the dolphin call lady. That's a dolphin call lady. And she said, and the mother said, would you please do the dolphin call? And I looked at Wolfgang, and I said, Wolf, is it okay if I do a dolphin call in the middle of Spago? And I did. And
Right.
he said yes. He said yes,
and right
but I didn't.
because I know when that interview was that all of a sudden you stopped the room with that and Victoria Beckham, she was flabbergasted.
Yes.
That she thought this woman is so cool.
Well,
And
or
she
crazy.
She walked out of that luncheon, and the only thing that she really remembered was you.
Yeah, the show was on, I think it was NBC, and it was Victoria Beckham Coming to America. You can look it up. It's all over the internet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love how unapologetically you are yourself. I think that is so cool.
Thank you. I mean, I have certain things that I think about, and one of them is, like, for instance, if I'm depressed, which we all get, I will say to myself, Carol, be thankful, ... I am. And I will do it as a mantra. I will say it over and over. So it lifts me out of that moment of depression, of
Can you say that again? I want to. What is it?
I will say to myself, or out loud actually, Carol, be thankful, ... I am.
I am.
And somehow if you use that and you say that, I think it takes you out of the place of being in a very negative place. Because as I said, we all get depressed. And another saying of mine is, what is.
What is.
And you have to deal with it.
Because any other little tidbits that we could share with the audience that you would give to the younger women and everything, just
Yes.
any pieces of advice would love to have you share.
Well, I do believe that the secret to success is to living your dream, is to dreaming it, but not giving up on it, to just staying with it. So my father used to have a line to my mother, and one day I am going to write this song. In fact, I'm going to do it for this. I'm doing this project called The Spirit of Life, You asked me what the question was. You asked me about that, and one called Angels in the Sky, which is the birth of Israel. I'm doing that. But my father used to say, quote, "Dream on, little girl, dream on," to my mother. And one day I'm going to use that title in a song. But I've often believed, and I used to tell this to Robert Culp when we were going together. In fact, they used it in People magazine when they did an article on me. The young people that are coming up to be following your dream, no matter what it is, a doctor, a dentist, a songwriter, an actress, a cheerleader, you beautiful thing, whatever it is. If you don't eat it, sleep it, think it, drink it, need it, forget it. You have to have laser beam clarity.
Carol, thank you so much. I love this interview. I love that you came
Thank
on,
you.
And you look, you're gorgeous.
Oh, yeah,
gorgeous,
right, of
And you're
course.
so gorgeous.
Well, at least I'm not Dracula's daughter.
Oh, excuse me. You're gorgeous, and thank you for sharing all your stories. Because again, our audience, we love hearing from young ones and even old ones and everything else. So thank you.
And if you think old, and this I told to Barbie, we were talking about, Barbie Benton's my best friend, and I said to her, Barbie, if we think old, we will be old, but if we think young, we will stay young.
And that we will. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being on.
you for having me. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
So we just spoke with Carol Connors. I love her.
She's so sweet.
You know what? I'm so impressed that even at her age, well, she looks fabulous, but she's continuing to just create and sing, and she plays her piano every day. And I mean, she's just so vibrant. And I loved her stories, and she had lots of good things to say to the younger generation, and how we should just get in there with gusto and not stop and not go after your passion, right?
I loved hearing her childhood stories and growing up and how music inspired her in that way.
And talk about dating. Like she even said, I wondered about this, that she said her dad was a bad boy, that he was a jockey. So she said that she did tend to look at the bad boys and stuff. And then I loved that I asked her about her favorite gift that she ever got from a guy. And she got a Rolls Royce.
Right? That girl, I need some advice for some standards. Yeah.
And she got her Steinway piano. She has her own beautiful house still that she bought. So again, talk about dating. As she did it right. She got
She
got
scored
Rolls
the
Royce.
jackpot.
And she got on her jewelry. She even talked about her fabulous jewelry. But again, I love how her voice is still incredible. So she's still singing and doing all that. I don't know. Doesn't it give you faith that no matter what age you are, you can continue to just build yourself up and have a career and like, look at me, the boomer, and I didn't know that I'd be doing Stall Talk. You didn't know you'd be doing Stall Talk, right? 6 months ago,
I was just a college girl. It's funny because I just got a Snapchat memory of like what I was doing last year, and like Snapchat is basically like the social media app where like you post like stories, they like last 24 hours, and you like send little pictures to your friends, and every day you get memories from your history.
Okay.
And I look at them and I'm like, wow, 2 years ago I was like in the basement of a frat house. Look at how far we've came now.
And now you're in the official bathroom stall for
and I'm with
everybody
the
to
girls.
see. Oh, honey. But yeah, that's why I love when people look forward. They're always looking forward, and you don't look back. Okay, get this. I was going out with this guy one time, and at this time period, and I remember we were driving. He was driving, and I was in the car, and he looks to me and he said, "What was the best time of your life?" And in an instant, millisecond, I said, "Now, now is the best time of my life."
come?
And because I just always feel that way. Like at this moment, being here with you on this beautiful set with our friends and our Stall Talk babes and Andy and everything. It's like, I mean, here we are in the middle of this beautiful city. We're so blessed. It doesn't get any better than this. And I know that you've had some trials and tribulations and all that,
happens, but like you say, get back on the horse.
Like you get back on the horse. But okay, this is one of my sayings too. And maybe I hope that you'll be maybe invigorated by it. But it's only through pain and suffering. That's the place where we really breathe and learn and look at the world and think about, oh my gosh, and you really appreciate, it makes you appreciate where you want to go, what you do want to have and all that, because I'm telling you, when things are going great, you just go, oh, it's great, and you just, it goes off your shoulder. It's great. And yet it's when it's great that we should be on our hands and knees and saying how blessed we are. But we don't do that. We get on our hands and knees when it's bad and go, oh my gosh. But if you look to the horizon, if you look in front of you, that's where the gold is. And I'm telling you, haven't you heard, I've heard so many times where these huge celebrities are very successful people. They say, you know what, but the best of the times is in the journey of getting there. That's where the fun is. Because, Cass, I guarantee you will look back on the times that have been bad and you'll say, oh my gosh, how much I learned and how much I grew. And how grateful I am to be right where I am. Because look at you. You have, since I've known you, you've lost like 40 pounds. You've turned
60.
into... No! Really?
Yeah.
I mean, and you're drop dead gorgeous. And you're just rocking it and rolling. And I know that you've had some skinned up knees, but... You know, and look at Carol Connors. I mean, she's gone through the ringer.
Yeah.
So, and she's a testament. Look at her. She's still singing and going and coming into the studio and creating songs.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I completely agree. I've gone through some hard times that looking back now, I'm so glad not glad that I experienced it, but glad of the other side of it. And I'll have to tell you about some of those stories in the future. But it was very nice being back with you, Stall Talk Babes, this week.
Yes. So stay with us. We love all of our Stall Talk Babes. And come back in the stall in another episode.
Trending up, trending down.
What?
Hey guys, it's that time at Trending Up and Trending Down on Stall Talk. This week is all about remakes. We're bringing back some classics. Something that I grew up on was Victorious, and I heard that there's a spinoff in the works, so I'm super excited to see what they do with that. And speaking of comebacks, we have Crazy Rich Asians. They're going to be having a TV show, which I'm super excited about. Director's got his hands full, especially after Wicked. I'm excited to see what he has coming next. That's all for me for Trending Up and Trending Down.
So thanks for watching another episode of Stall Talk.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on all our social media platforms. Bye, babes.
Bye.